Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot and welcome back to today's coverage of the brand new Late Cretaceous Pack / Update 4, and that's what we're going to focus on here, because before release we got a little idea of what Update 4 would bring, but it's actually a pretty bloody big patch containing a lot of secret little things we didn't know about in the past that have come to light in the wake of the full patch notes. So I'm going to showcase some of those really cool things here. I've picked out what I think are the most important things, but of course there's a bunch of bug fixes and stuff like that, which I'm not going to highlight, but definitely recommend checking out the full patch notes. So, first things first, in the past, if you tranquilized the dinosaur like our lovely Therizinosaurus here, and you wanted to wake it up, what you do is you click transport, you'd click your Theri, and you'd click elsewhere in your habitat. They'd come, they'd pick it up, they'd move it across, and it would wake up. No longer is that the case. They've added an ability to wake up tranquilized dinosaurs. If you grab our capture team, click add task, you'll see it's now got this new symbol. This just means it's asleep and you can wake it up. It looks a little like a cult Illuminati kind of symbol to me. It really does. But still, the point is you can now have this new awaken option, and your helicopter will come by and it will manually, well, it will automatically waken up your Therizinosaurus. You can also do it manually if you wanted to. You can see they've got the new stimulant option there underneath tranquilize, and you can, if you want, shoot your Therizinosaurus yourself, administer the stimulant and wake it up. No more transporting things to wake them up. This is especially helpful with your lagoon and aviary creatures which you can't transport into the same environment, so you have to transport them to a different lagoon and then back again. No longer the case. So definitely a cool change in that regard. They've also, and I'm just going to quote the patch notes here, added the ability to manually take control of an aviary or lagoon drone from the aviary or lagoon hatchery. Manually perform tasks such as, and I cut out the rest. So you can see if we go into here, where are we? There we go. So in the past, if you wanted to say feed your Pteranodons, your car would drive over to your hatchery, they would park inside kind of thing, and then they would activate a drone, they'd fly around and they'd refill your feeders. But now we can do it ourselves. So let's give this guy, I've never done this before, literally never done this, but there we go, we've got our little drone. Very cool. So we've got a scanner, we've got a medicate option, pew, there you go. We've got a tranquilize option, pew. Very cool. Oh lord, he's coming. Oh lord, he's coming. Okay, but you get the idea. So you can now manually pilot your drone, fly it around, lock on and play a little shooting game with your pterosaurs if you're that way inclined. And you can actually also do the same with your lagoons as well. Let's give that a very quick little go. Completely different style of drone, as you can see, much more like a little underwater submarine looking thing. You can descend, and again you can tranquilize. You have to lock on first, but yeah, just I think a really fun little change, actually. Really a big fan of that. Whilst we're down here in the water, I do want to show you something. This was mentioned on the Reddit by JP3 5, and they mentioned that the new coral reefs have little fish on them, and they do indeed. This one here, as you can see, loads of little fish, loads of little angel fish, etc. swimming around the coral reef. Really nice, this little dose of life, basically. I think that's really cool. And whilst we're down here, we're going to hop into our decorations, and I'm just going to show you something in our lagoon decorations, because I mentioned the ships, of course, but if we go into it, as you can see, if you look at the boat, not this, well, it is this one, but this one showcases it a little bit better. I believe, unless I'm totally crazy, that is the boat from Jurassic Park 3. It's obviously not got the full detail of it, but it's definitely got the rough same shape. You can see the sort of the little driving area there, and this is where they were sitting towards the end of the film, yada yada yada, which is really cool. Nice little detail there. We have some new decorations. Now, we've already talked about decorations, but I want to go through the new ones specifically because I didn't really get into that. I get a little tetchy about this kind of thing because if I go into, let me find the bloody thing, this for example, this is the classic toilet. Now this is a new decoration, and I noticed this when I was doing my video, but I thought, is that new? I kind of second guessed myself a little bit, and I wasn't 100% sure it was new. Apparently the foliage on this will actually adapt to the location you put it in as well, so it's going to make it a little bit easier to make that classic Jurassic Park scene with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. We're going to be on another map in a little bit to try something else, so we'll definitely place another one of these to see if the foliage looks any different. But we do have a few more new decorations than just that. I don't know why these are in the lights, but if you come down here, you'll see we've got some new Jurassic Park banners. We've got 4 of these. These 4 banners here look really cool. Again, just a little bit more love for Jurassic Park, it feels, in general. Really nice little detailed ones here with this sort of forest texture going on, this gold. We've got this more retro style one there, and a very classic red and black Jurassic Park logo there. Very cool stuff. There's also a new Jurassic Park light, I believe. Which I believe is this one. Now we've got two of these. There you go. We've got a big boy and we've got a little boy. We also have a new Spinosaurus enclosure marker, as you can see right there. So a bunch of new decorations. Again, those are free for everybody. And a lot more cool new things, little changes. So if we go into our path here, you can see whilst we're placing our path, you can have the overcrowding view on or off. So this should make it a lot easier to know where you need to thicken your paths as you're actually placing them. I can see here that this part of the park is quite crowded, or at least getting to be. So if I wanted, and you can see it actually react in real time, which is actually really handy for park building. There you go. And you can just see where your guests need a little bit more walking room. Should help get rid of that overcrowding issue, which is actually an issue when it comes to park design. Big fan of that. Another pretty cool new change is the addition of more cameras, more viewing points to our viewing towers and viewing buildings and stuff like that. So if I click my new viewing platform right here, this one might be a bad example actually, but you can see we've got a new button at the bottom left. Previous camera and next camera, and if I click that, it kind of takes me, look, we're on the balcony on the outside, or inside over here, or inside over here. So this one's got 3 different locations you can stand in. In the past, you were locked into one location, one viewing spot, so that's actually a really nice change. Should make your viewing towers a lot more interesting to use. There's a new button added also to the scientist recruitment page. If you look down here in the bottom left, you can see we now have a refresh candidate button. If you're playing on, say, challenge mode or campaign, you'll be able to do this a limited number of times. You can see we also have more information about it right here. But if I click the R key, boop, we can refresh candidates. Costs a little bit of money, and it does give you time as to when they'll refresh, but we can do it ourselves manually if we want to do that. If you come back into sandbox options and go into park, you can see into gameplay, I should say, up here we now have infinite candidate refreshes as a new sandbox option, so you can turn that on or off if you do want the ability to refresh to get the ultimate scientist lot, I suppose. Last cool thing I want to show you in this park, and maybe the coolest little stealth change in the entire patch, is this one right here. Yes, it has finally happened. The Jurassic Park 3 Pteranodons are full size. Finally, they aren't itty bitty babies anymore. I don't know why they were so tiny, but now you can see it quite clearly there on the rock, especially compared to the Quetzal. They don't even look that tiny. They are full size. They are glorious. They are absolutely beautiful. We've been waiting a long time for this change. It's taken a year, but definitely worth the wait because, you know, it's one of the better Pteranodons in the game for me personally. I really love the colours, I love the design in general, and to have them in their full glory again instead of being itty bitty babies is definitely a good change. However, I do still have one tiny small complaint, and that is that the colours are, for whatever reason, wrong. It clearly has the colours from the Lost World Jurassic Park Pteranodon, which is blue, and that we see at the very end of the film. So not sure why the colours are wrong, but that is very, very small. The big thing is definitely the size, and I'm really, really happy to showcase that that has finally, after all this time, been fixed. So we're here in San Diego. Whilst we're here, we're going to grab that, all these categories now. We've got so many more decorations than I ever thought we ever would. It's really fantastic, but it does make life more difficult. But yeah, that's actually really cool. You can see they've gone through the effort, giving it all these custom plant life in order to make sure that they fit into each map properly. Honestly, I really appreciate that dedication. I think that's really cool. And we're here for a very specific reason, because the amphitheater right here from the San Diego map has had viewpoints added to it. As you can see, show view. So we can finally look down into the amphitheater. And I think they maybe didn't expect people to use it as an exhibit quite so much, but we can now hop around. We've got these 2 different shows. Well, we've got a few actually. We've got these higher up ones. We can hop around the entire place, get a good view of our dinosaurs. So not only do we have the show view, but it also has the multiple iterations like the other viewing areas do. Really just a bunch of fantastic changes. There's a few that I'm not going to show you because they're harder to show, but I can tell you about them. There's a couple of extra cool things here. Dinosaurs have an extra chance to gain certain traits in biomes with extreme climates. So in alpine and taiga biomes, dinosaurs are more likely to gain the hungry trait because there's a lack of food around, of course. And in desert biomes like this one here in San Diego, dinosaurs are more likely to gain the thirsty trait. Just a little dose of realism, just little extra details, which, again, I don't think anyone was asking for, but I love when they do that kind of thing. It makes me happy. Dinosaurs that don't fight their own species, you know, let's say Edmontosaurus, for example, can't fight members of its own species. They can actually still now choose a new alpha and herd leader just by using social interactions, which is pretty cool. And also the dinosaur combat frequency setting, I'll show you that very quickly. And I think I noticed this during my videos. Dinosaur combat frequency, obviously you can toggle it on and off. That no longer stops dinosaurs hunting guests. They will hunt guests regardless of whether this is on or off, which I think is a positive change. I would love to see the return of the high combat frequency from the past game. I think that'd be a really cool change, and you know, we did have it in the past, so I'd love to see that come back. But still, just a whole gaggle of really, really cool changes. The viewing areas, the bigger Pteranodon, the new decorations, the stimulant dart, the drone controlling, the amphitheater, the path crowding, the little details on the coral, the multiple viewing points, the candidate refreshing, and that was all the extra stuff. That's not including all the other stuff I mentioned already in my Update 4 video earlier on today. So, honestly, shout out to Frontier. As per usual, the update is by far the best part of a day like today. It really has surpassed the DLC for me in many, many ways, and they've done a fantastic job with it. And you know what? If you are a free player and someone who bought the game but didn't buy the DLC, you're eating pretty well today, it must be said. Right, we're going to end it there anyway. Thank you very much for joining me. Throw me a like down below. Which of these changes are you most excited about? The subtle hidden changes of patch update 4. Let me know in the comment section down below. I really hope you've enjoyed the content today. I was going to do a video showcasing the helicopter pterosaur attacks and stuff like that, but Evo Squared has already covered that, so if you want to see all that, definitely go check out her channel. And that's about it from me. Thank you so much for joining me. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.